Good morning, church. So good to be with you. This Wednesday is actually Ash Wednesday, and Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of the Lent season. And so I'm going to ask us as a church over the next 40 days, beginning this Wednesday, to participate in some of the spiritual disciplines of Lent, namely prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. For the next 40 days, practice the spiritual discipline of prayer. Dive deep in prayer. We should already be praying on a regular basis, but Lent offers us this wonderful opportunity to renew our vigor for prayer. For the next 40 days, participate in the spiritual discipline of fasting. Choose one thing to fast from for the next 40 days, beginning this Wednesday. Choose something that will be a sacrifice. Choose something that maybe you treasure, that you're especially fond of. Choose something that will hurt a little, that will be a little painful. Maybe Netflix, ouch, it hurt even just to say that. But I'm thinking maybe I'm going to fast from Netflix these next 40 days. It might be a little too painful, so I'll let you know what I do. But here's other suggestions. How about fasting from a social media application? Or fasting from video games? Or maybe fasting from chocolates or sweets or soda? Fasting is a wonderful opportunity to redirect our attention and affection on the Lord. And then, over the next 40 days, practice the spiritual discipline of almsgiving. Almsgiving is just a fancy word for giving money and food to the needy and poor among us. We should already be charitable and kind and generous to the poor and needy among us. But the Lent season offers us this wonderful opportunity to lean into almsgiving, to be especially charitable, especially kind, especially generous to the needy and the poor among us. Almsgiving is probably one of the spiritual muscles that are the weakest for many of us. And so I want to spend the next few minutes of our time together dialoguing about almsgiving. Here's a suggestion for almsgiving. This is not my idea, and so I can't take credit for it, but this is what I call a bag o' blessings. And in my 1-gallon Ziploc bag, I have a bottle of water. I have some Ritz crackers. I have toothpaste and toothbrush, and I have some face masks and some cash. And this is my bag o' blessings. And what I'm going to do over the next 40 days is I'm just going to leave a bag o' blessing in my car. And every time I see someone on the sidewalk that's in need of help, I'm ready and I'm prepared with my bag o' blessings. I would encourage you to make your own bag of blessings. Maybe be creative about what you put in it. And here's an idea. Make sure that you include your kids in preparing bag o' blessings. Include your kids in almsgiving. Now let us look at Matthew 26 for a moment. And then I'll circle back and make a connection to almsgiving. In Matthew chapter 26, Jesus is arrested. A crowd of men with swords and clubs come and they take Jesus away. They arrest Jesus. And then in verse 53, the Bible says that Jesus' disciples all leave him and they flee. All of Jesus' disciples abandon him and they scatter. But there's one disciple and his name is Peter. And he kind of trails from behind. He does his own undercover operation because he wants to find out what they will do to Jesus. But his cover is blown. A servant girl comes up to Peter and says to Peter, "Hey, you are one of them, aren't you?" And Peter says, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Move along." And Peter denies Jesus the first time. And Peter will deny Jesus 2 more times. For a total of 3 times Peter denies Jesus. The second time, another servant girl comes up to Peter and outs him in public in front of everyone. She says, "Hey everyone, he's with Jesus." And by this time, Peter is frustrated. And he says, "I don't know the man." And then, the third time that Peter denies Jesus, just before he denies Jesus, is verse 73. Listen carefully to verse 73. It says this. It says, "After a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, 'Surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away.'" You see, Peter had a distinct Galilean accent. And if you remember, Jesus is from Nazareth of Galilee. And so every time Peter opens his mouth, they recognize that he is from Galilee, that he is with Jesus. I enjoy listening to people with distinct accents. I have a friend, her name is Debbie Jones, and she's from Australia, and she has a distinct Australian accent. She says, "Hey mate, good day mate, cheerio mate." And every time she opens her mouth, you know that she's from Australia because she has this distinct Australian accent. Well, Peter has this distinct Galilean accent. And every time he opens his mouth, the people recognize that he is from Galilee, that he is with Jesus. And they say, "Surely you are one of them. Your Galilean accent gives you away. There's something distinct about you. You're with Jesus, aren't you? We can tell." Now, in the context that Peter finds himself in, which is a very hostile climate, understandably, these comments are unwelcomed. And I was thinking it would be a tremendous honor if there was something distinct about me so that people recognize that I am with Jesus because of it. I mean, wouldn't that be a tremendous honor if someone said to you, "Surely you are one of them. Surely you are with Jesus. Your love for others gives you away. Surely you are one of them. Your kindness toward others gives you away. Surely you are with Jesus. The way that you carry yourself gives you away. Surely you are one of them. You're a disciple of Jesus. The way that you treat the poor and the needy among us gives you away. There's something distinct about you. You're with Jesus, aren't you? I can tell. Sadly, people would not be able to recognize that I am with Jesus unless I'm wearing maybe my Jesus clothing. That's the sad reality. I'm saddened by it. I'm ashamed of it. I can do better. I must do better. We can do better. We must do better. Now, we do not practice almsgiving to get noticed, to get recognition. That's not our heart's motive. That's not our heart's intention. We love Jesus, and because Jesus tells us to love others is why we do almsgiving. But there's something interesting that Jesus says in his teaching on salt and light. Listen to what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. And he says this, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." I think it would be a tremendous honor these next 40 days to practice the spiritual discipline of almsgiving. To let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds, that they may see your almsgiving. And in response to what they see, they glorify, they praise our Father in heaven. It would be a tremendous honor for someone to say, "Surely you are one of them." The way that you treat the poor and needy gives you away. There's something distinct about you. You're with Jesus, aren't you? I can tell. Church, let us prepare our hearts for Easter these next 40 days of Lent. Let us practice the spiritual disciplines of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Hope you have a wonderful week. God bless you, and God bless your family.